All right, YouTube family, we're back again with another segment of Color of Truth, as with the continuation of the conversation with my aunt Alzada. We stopped with Seneca Village and we stopped in New York as she transitions into New York. And so, start telling me a little bit about New York. So you get New York, you finesse and finagle your way into what they classify as a project house.
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
got into there, and then I had to do some finagling. I to get in, but we managed to get in
Mm-hmm.
because um, with determination, you just everything was legal. I didn't do anything. So then I remember one of my first husband's cousin got married, and just to show you what people think about project, that is, they were living. I guess they were living in a small apartment. Cause see, in New York, you live in small apartments and small rooms, or people, double up in rooms until you can do better. You know, we don't have the luxury of a lot of space. You see, so you have to make do. And but I was talking about foreigners coming in, foreigner. So I think at first they really thought they were better than we are. That class system among blacks, and I think it's a little different today because you know, uh, I think it's a lot different because I think they found out that we have to work together and we have to stick together, and that's why we can many more people are voting, and when it's a black rally or something, you know, they will come together. But at first they had this hmm, they had the nose sort of turn up against us because they had been brainwashed that we were lazy. And but I tell you, many of the foreigners right now, they will work without becoming a part of a union. And in New York, I don't know how many other northern states, there are unions, and the unions are good for you, you know. But I have a manicurist, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But because there's some other things I want to talk to you about. Um, that you're my nephew and you're doing a very good job, and you're smart and you have wisdom, and you want people to know the truth. So I know that's why I'm talking to you, because I know you want to get the truth out. You want people to know the truth, and I appreciate and I love you for that. Um, my manicurist worked on her job, I think even like 3 years. Till I kind of think she's regular, but you know, 6 months, maybe up to 6 months. Some people will say a year, but most of 6 months you're on a job and you become regular because you're supposed to get your increments, your little raises, and but some of the foreigners they just go along with it. In a place where all foreigners are working, they don't have a strong union. I'm not saying all, but they do not have a strong union because the foreigners don't push it because they think we complain and they just go along with the status quo. So they keep the job, you see. And they're treated unfairly because my manicures tell me um, how the whites on the job been there for years, and when they leave half of their work undone, the supervisor would just ask one of them to go over and do it. And that's unfair. They're being paid. And I thought, but why? That shouldn't be happening. And her husband tells her also because he's in the union. He's in a good union. And there at this uh, nursing home, the union is not strong. And if you talk to the union, they used to call them shop steward. I don't know what they call them now. That's the person who's in charge, and I think they give them a little stipend, and sometimes they're in cahoots with the union. So, and they'll tell who talked, um, who complained, so then they could be fired. But if you had a union, if you are in the union, your job is protected. And if you want to make a report, that's good. If you in the union, you have somebody to fight for you. But if you're not in the union, then they can just fire you. But this is what happens on these jobs that are non-union, you see. And they will discriminate against. And I've heard that now the young people working in different stores,
Mm-hmm.
how they're holding these interviews. Because I said to a young man, I'm walking around the park, and I said, they're hiring at the Navy Yard.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yes, Ma, they're hiring. But when you go there, they they give the jobs to the white people,
Mm-hmm.
the white guys.
Mm-hmm.
He said, they're just fronting.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he was telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the same happened, Staples.
Mm-hmm.
I've had guys to tell me how they go to work and they'll walk around with a soda in their hand and they keep their receipts to let them know that they're paid for the soda.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so much going on today,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I just think that I know that as as black people we need to get all the education that we can get.
Mm-hmm.
And we should instill in our young people that you must get an education. You must finish high school. And then you got to go further than that
Mm-hmm.
because that's just a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have to be determined because I can tell you during the time when Dr. King began boycotting, when Dr. King was killed,
Mm-hmm.
I remember coming up out the subway. I was in school. I was in college.
Night school or day school?
Night.
Night school.
Because
Okay.
I worked during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everybody said, oh, and that's when I found out Dr. King had been assassinated. Um, but I'm a person, I have been that person that was determined to do better. Um, Determined to have a career, be in a career, so I can retire.
Yeah.
And get my Social Security.
Right.
And don't have to struggle you know, and yes, I'm struggling, but I I'm content.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing I can say. I am content.
Right.
So I thank God for that.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your 10, 10, 10, you always taught me about that. And um, though it's hard applying,
Oh yes,
but you have to be disciplined enough to apply it.
yes,
And those are that's some of the wisdom that you've imparted in me. That even though yet I have not. Well, I wouldn't say I haven't, because I do the 10 tithe. I do try to do the 10% saving. I do a 401k, so
okay.
I don't save exactly 10%.
Hmm.
But
But you need,
yeah,
yeah, it's good that 401k is good because it's come in very good when you retire.
we get ready to
But
retire.
then um you need a surplus. You need something that if you think about taking a trip next year,
Mm-hmm.
you want to take your family on a trip. You
Yeah,
want to be able to do that.
want to be able to do
And
that.
then you want to be able to have my daddy and my mother always said a nest egg.
That's egg, all right.
You have a little something in the bank that you don't want to touch until, because of emergencies.
Yeah, and they do arise, not if but when.
When
Yeah, when. So tell me a little bit after night school. You went to night school. What did you go to school for?
I was studying. Well, the first time I went to school, I was still trying. I just wanted to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and I I learned to type in high school on a cardboard
Mm-hmm.
with the keys of a typewriter drawn on those, and that's where I learned the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, I'll go to school and study, go night school and study typing and shorthand in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a typewriter. I think it was a red manual typewriter from the pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember how much I paid for it. Probably like, I don't even think it was $60. I don't know. Could have been less than that. And I learned. And first I went to Central Evening School, and I took typing and shorthand. And I wasn't quite focused there.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went to Erasmus, and I was really focused there. And I had a black teacher who told me how to to really use that keyboard, how to type, get my speed and accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I took I took shorthand also, and then it was Pittman shorthand, and then I took the test at not the per diem, temporary temp agency,
Mm-hmm.
temp agency,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I went there, I was very confident because I could type 80 words a minute accurately.
Wow.
I could type 100 words a minute, and at that time I knew how to count those minutes, count the words and
Mm-hmm.
during the minute, and I could do 80. I mean 100, but I could do, and then I'll slow down to do 80 accurately,
Mm-hmm.
and I could erase, and you would never tell me. Well, I was good. And but this black teacher had told me that. She taught me. She advised me, get your fingers moving as fast as you can. Don't worry about your mistakes, and then slow down. So when I took the typing test, all that was required was 40 words a minute.
Right.
So you knew I was very confident.
Right.
And then I was given a list of words to alphabetize, and the lady on the proctor she forgot the proctor forgot to time me 3 times, and I didn't get annoyed. I said, I'm not going to be annoyed. This is before I went to college.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time she said, oh, you have to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
And she go over to the other whites. I think I was the only black in the room.
Mm.
Person down on Remsen Street in Brooklyn. It was for office work. See, at that time I was pushing. I wanted to get myself an office job. And she would start me again. So 3 times. The 4th time, I alphabetized the whole list. And she said, oh, nobody never finished the whole list. You did good. I said, oh, thank you. And I didn't say to her that, well, you stopped me 3 or 4 times, so I almost memorized the whole list.
Right. You stopped me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't going to be discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I worked for the bank. I started working for First National City Bank.
Mm.
And then there they wanted to keep me on. I started I was hired, the position I was hired in was switchboard operator. But that was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I was hired in that position, I had to work at it. So what we did, I worked half day on the switchboard operator, and then I worked at the desk typing. I did a little shorthand, and the chief clerk wanted me to go on to school to finish stenography and be hired regular at the bank.
Right.
So I worked there, and then the next job, I don't know what happened. I think I went to work for the city of New York, Department of Personnel,
Okay.
over in Manhattan, and there I was a typist.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thank God because I worked well with the people.
Okay.
And this man, there was a man who was an engineer, and he'll say, come pretty girl, I want you to type this for me just like I have written it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I learned this electric typewriter, and that was the one with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know if that was still maybe before your time. But anyway, so I learned that, and that was
that was before my time, Monty. That was before my time.
Yes, but anyway, it was electric. But then I see the columns in this paper.
Mm-hmm.
I did that because the personal examiners, they had little booklets that they go out and teach in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And not in the field, but this was in that area.
In the area, yeah.
Yeah, so I did whole pages of this booklet, and I did well there. And what I did, the secretary knew that there was a whole display of little cabinets, little boxes, and each one had forms.
Mm-hmm.
They have different form letters. At the Department of Personnel, the director was a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
When I took the job, when they hired me, and I had an underscore extend beyond one word, and he picked that up.
Oh.
And I told the secretary, I will not take the job because I'm confident I know I can do the work.
Right.
And she took the letter. She said, "Oh, no, I like you. I'm going to." She said, "I'll type the letter." She retyped it.
Wow. You always had favor.
Yes, God gave me favor.
Yes, he did.
She typed the letter, and that's the way we worked. If she was having a hard day, and she was Irish, she was having a hard day, I hear her ripping the paper out, the typewriter, pulling it out the typewriter, and I said, "Eileen, she said, I'm just making a mistake." I said, "Okay, I'll do it for you." And vice versa. That's the way we work. Then I spoke with one black personnel examiner. He was one of the teachers. But before I speak about him, the job was not. It was a good job, but the job was not rewarding for